Hello, everybody, and welcome back to For St. Pete's Sake. My name is Hotchkiss. I'm the president of the Stonewall Democrats of Pinellas County. This is the official podcast of the Stonewall Democrats, where we deep dive into everything political in Pinellas County, the state of Florida, and beyond. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Laura Gerken. Laura, how are you?
Hey, Christian. I'm getting excited. I've got a festival camping trip coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm doing the countdown now. So it's
Nice.
I'm just very excited about it.
Which festival is this?
This is what it's called, Lost Lands.
Okay.
It's in Southern Ohio, so it's camping. Right now I'm driving up by myself, so that's 16 and a half hours from here to the site, and then 4 days camping and festing.
I mean, I just did a drive up to Chicago with my friend a few weeks ago, and it was 18 hours, and it was awful. It
Yeah,
was awful. Oh, God, I hated it. But I've done that drive so many times to Missouri and back, and anyway.
exactly.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you'll
for
have a lot of
sure.
fun. That's exciting.
Oh yeah.
So today we don't have a guest. So today's just going to be a gap session. I think we're at this point doing once a month for these, which is pretty fun. You know, it's nice to just get some things off our chest and talk about some updates of what's going on in the world and, give our opinions on
Yeah.
things. I want to remind people that this is an opinion-based podcast. This is not what we say is our opinions. It's not, anything else like that. We are not official government workers or anything like that. It is our opinion. So please just remember that. So let's get started. Where do you want to
Yeah.
start today?
I mean, right, where even to start? I think, well, let's start hyper local and talk about the removal of our beautiful street art that happened this long holiday weekend here in St. Pete. And I believe they got the Tampa murals over the weekend as well. For those who aren't aware, the Governor DeSantis ordered the removal of all street art. Like, basically, it can only be black and white on the pavement, and only official markings only. FDOT sent letters to any municipality that had them, had these street art things, and said they had to be removed. So of course that included the Black History Matters mural near the Charles Woodson Museum. It included the progressive pride flag on Central Avenue. Yeah, there were in Tampa. It included the one, I think it says "Back the Blue."
Yeah.
It was a not very great done mural, because it looks like it says "Bach the Bluff."
But
When I
yeah.
first saw it, I was like, "What does that say?" But yeah, and then actually, and it even they had to remove in Daytona the Finnish flag artwork that they had on the ground. So, it's just government overreach at its peak. And they started with removing the rainbow crosswalk at the Pulse Memorial site.
Yes. And I really loved
Um,
when people came out and painted with chalk on that. I loved
yeah.
when people came out and protested that. I did see somewhere that 4 people got arrested doing that, which is really stupid, but hopefully those.
They have been. Yeah, they've still been fighting back in Orlando. One guy, yeah, at least 4 people have been arrested, but no one's been they've all been let go. And we'll see what happens when that comes to going to court, because they were minor misdemeanors. I don't even know if those are ones that you actually have to go to court on, or if you just pay a fine and it goes away. But you're right, it's a waste of public resources. It's a waste of
An
the
attack on
police
First
officer's
Amendment
time.
rights, is it not? Is it not an attack on free speech?
It is. It absolutely is an attack on free speech. And that is, ironic, considering that is, half of the platform of, the extreme right, is that, that liberals and Democrats are somehow limiting free speech by making people have consequences for saying racist and terrible things.
And
But
this isn't the first attack that Governor DeSantis and his administration has done. I remember a few years back when he wouldn't let the Skyway Bridge be lit up in rainbow colors.
Yeah,
The Department of
for
Transportation
pride.
wouldn't let that for Pride Month. So this isn't the first attack that we've seen. It's definitely a continuation on the LGBTQ community because let's be honest, that's where it started. Even though a lot of things have been erased, like the Finnish flag and the back the blue and mural and all that, it was because of the LGBTQ flags. And when they started out with the Pulse Memorial and removing that side crosswalk, that was so disgusting and really just stupid and awful. That is a memorial where 49 people lost their lives just dancing and having fun, and a shooter came in and killed them. And that's
Predominantly Hispanic people too, because it was
right,
Latin night, so
right. And so that's one of our historical landmarks. And so to attack that and to remove that rainbow crosswalk outside of there, it really is, like you said, a government overreach. It's an attack on our freedom of speech, an attack on our First Amendment rights, freedom of expression. And I wish more local governments would stand up to this administration. I know Key West has said that they're going to stand up against it and they're going to fight back and try to save some of their street murals. I wish more local governments would do that. I know the administration is threatening to take away some funding from the state and things like that. But I mean, at this point, we have to stand up. We have to fight these people back in court because this is truly like we have a constitution for a reason. We have, the First Amendment and things like that for a reason. And we need to fight these people. We can't just sit complacently and let this stuff happen. This is,
I absolutely agree.
I don't know, it's 2025, and the fact that this is still happening is crazy.
I mean, okay, so like Governor DeSantis has obviously been in power for, in leadership for what, this is year 7, 8,
Six or
next year
seven.
is when he's out.
Yeah.
Huh?
Six or
Yeah, something
seven.
like that. Yeah. He's been leading up to these acts for a while, but you have the permission structure is coming from the national level because the president is, attacking and doing all these things. DeSantis feels like there's a permission structure now to go in and do these things. And I totally agree. I understand that it's gotta be hard to make those decisions, but, what else was probably a hard decision was, when Pastor Andy decided to get down and kneel on his knees and pray at the Black History Matters mural and was arrested
Mhm.
for refusing to move, and praying over the mural. That I don't think that was an easy decision for him to make, but it was the right one. And I just they're I hate to see it just yeah, like you said, you can't just give them the opportunity to do this. You have to fight back. Otherwise, they're just gonna take another step and take and go further next time.
Exactly, exactly. And we've seen this is the authoritarian playbook. This is exactly what happened in, um, Germany in 1933. That's when we say that this is everything that's happening now is reminiscent of Germany. We're not saying that people think we're automatically talking about 1945 Nazi Germany. We're not. We're talking about 1933 when it first started, when they first started attacking people and doing these things like the book bannings and the censorship and things like that. That's where it started. So this is very reminiscent of that. We've seen it all over the world every time an authoritarian has tried to take over a country. We've seen it in Russia. We've seen it in North Korea. All of this,
Venezuela.
Venezuela, all of it. So I don't understand why people are not waking up to this and why this is taking so long for people to truly grasp. Um,
I mean, I think it's so hard for people right now. I think because the middle class, like heard a statistic recently that like the middle class is now what's considered the middle class by like economical people definition. They are um they're cash strapped. We're cash strapped. Nobody has like people. If you're in the traditional middle class, you're living paycheck to paycheck, which is wild. And but if you're upper middle class or above, you're friggin' swimming in it. And I think that is why it's so hard to get people to organize to fight back, because you're just don't have the time, you don't have mentally exhausted, and there's the fear of what if this costs me my job, and nobody's got a savings left anymore either. So it's like it's just this system has definitely, because when we had, the rising up in the civil with the civil rights era and all that, um the wealth gap was not, well, I mean, obviously the wealth gap between like black and white was huge and
Yeah.
remains that way. But like the stratification of within the economic classes was not as stark because there was such a large social safety net. So like, it was easier to maybe risk going somewhere, risking doing something because you had more of a social safety net to let or fall back on. And we just don't have that now. And it's hard. I mean, I know I'm ready. Like, I'm just waiting for someone to tell me where to be and like what we're doing and and like I'm ready, but I just, I don't it's also, to take this a little bit more nationally, is it's that party, this Democratic Party just stays disappointing. Just stays disappointing. Um, what they're doing in New York City against Zoham Ramdani is just absolutely disgusting. They're and like Trump now is in it and is trying to get Eric Adams out so that it's just Mamdani versus Cuomo, thinking that Cuomo would win, and Cuomo is chomping at the bit for Trump's help, and everyone's like, "Oh no, Andrew Cuomo, he was the good governor during the pandemic." Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, he's also a sex pest, and I'm pretty sure like a monetary thief from the state of New York. Someone might have to check me on that. I don't really remember that. I don't remember the specifics of that, but like he's not a good person that you want running the city of New York, one of the biggest cities in our country. Like, are
No,
you kidding me?
not at all.
And
And
yeah, the
yeah,
party's just not inspiring anything. They're not giving us the inspiration to, get out there and fight, because they're not fighting.
yeah, absolutely. No one's standing up, and we see a few people trying to, like Cory Booker and his speeches in the Senate and all that. But then he'll turn around and automatically vote for what he was just harping against. So
And
we
then
see
he'll
a lot of
stand there
that.
and take pictures with him and Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, get out of my face, Cory Booker. I'm done with you. I'm done with
Right.
you.
Um, I just want to remind people that nothing's going to change if we don't stand up. Nothing's going to change if we don't get out there. I know that we're all like struggling and everybody's living paycheck to paycheck, and millennials and Gen Zs are, we can barely afford to live. Again, nothing is going to change if we just sit back and do nothing. If we don't get out there and fight, if we don't make our voices heard, then this is going to continue. It's going to get worse. And the rich are truly trying to take over this country. The rich want it to where they have all the freedom in the world. They have no laws against them, and they can do whatever they want. That's why you hear Peter Thiel completely bought out and paid for JD Vance.
Yeah.
So that's the scary part. Like, people are making jokes about Trump being dead and things like that. What comes after Trump is even more scary. Trump accidentally fell into the presidency. Trump fell into um, this group of people that were not really being heard on the Republican side. And of course, it's the worst of the worst, the MAGA Republicans and things like that. But um, he accidentally fell into his position. JD Vance has been truly trained and molded by Peter Thiel. If you don't know who that is, look him up. He's the one who bankrolled Facebook and all that. He has completely molded JD
Shut down
Vance.
Gawker.
Yep. He has completely molded Vance to be this guy who will take over and do everything that Trump says he'll do, but actually will do. again, be that rich, for the rich and against the middle and low class Americans. And um, so that's what, like I said, just we need to get out there and fight, and we need to be willing to stand up. We need to be willing to take a stand and make our voices heard, because that's how things are going to change.
And I agree, and, I definitely think that there is, like, this cult of character about Trump that has made him appeal and has made him just absolutely retardant to anything that any scandal that would have sunk any other politician like a million times over. JD Vance does not have that. JD Vance, my cats have more charisma than JD Vance. Like
Yes.
he can't I don't know, people if y'all remember just him trying to buy donuts on the campaign trail was like so painfully awkward. He's just a weird nerd. So like would he won't be able to control the Republican Party the same way Trump will. Trump does, but it's who's controlling JD is
Right.
going to be who it is. And,
Right.
and just to make it clear, Peter Thiel is a gay man. It's like, the internalized just self-hatred that is going on with that man is just beyond. And it's one of those things that it's like you think you can buy your way into acceptance, and he can, buy his way into anything he wants at this point, but those people are never gonna accept him.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't understand why people think that, and why this guy thinks that at all. Put your money to something useful. Put your money to something good. Actually be out there fighting for your community, fighting for underserved and underprivileged people. That's how you're going to be on the right side of history. You're on the wrong
Exactly.
side of history right now, dude. You're on the wrong
With
side of
exactly, like, you see, Mackenzie, Scott, who is Jeff Bezos's, first wife, she is constantly giving away, money because they were together from when they were really young and there was no prenup, so she's paid for life. But she gives that money away all the time. I can't remember if she changed her name, but, Microsoft homie's wife, Melissa. Oh my god, I know her first name's Melissa. What is his Gates? Melissa Gates. I don't know if she changed her last name, but same thing. I don't think they had a prenup because they were together forever, and she just gives away money. There's only so much money you can have and do things with.
right. What are you doing with it when you die? Like, you think you're going to live forever? You're not. No, none
Well,
of them
oh,
gonna make you live forever. Like, what are you gonna do with it when you're gone?
literally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very hoarding mentality. It's a hoarder's mentality. So, yeah.
absolutely. I wanna get into what's going on in our health system right now, especially with
Boy.
the lovely, I don't even know how to say God, his voice just makes me so
I
it's so
know.
bad. It's so like,
It's so
why
like
do you sound like you're dying and you're RFK Jr. Anyway, if you don't know who we're
RFK
talking
Jr., yes, our
about.
Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Yes, the illustrious RFK Jr., who came from, the Kennedys, really good family, I
Yeah.
thought. But, this one is something wild. He was in the Senate hearing this past week, and um, really faced intense scrutiny from Democratic senators over the turmoil at the CDC. I think he just fired 1,000 people working on the mRNA vaccine research
Yeah.
specifically. He's, completely. He's fired so many people across the board within the CDC and the Health and Human Services Department and all of that. And it's sick.
The truly, like, trained scientists,
Right,
the non-political people. These have
right,
never been people like, yes, you replace political appointees from term to term, but like these are just, the data scientists that, have been there, and they've all been pushed out or fired or, been forced to, you know, compromise themselves or leave. And most of them have left. And now they're replaced with these anti-science, fake, woo-woo, just grifters. They're all just grifters.
oh yeah. Um, it goes to this broader debate uh, on science and public health. Florida just repealed childhood vaccine mandates, and
Oh,
that's
man,
something that is absolutely like how
beyond dangerous.
how you don't understand that vaccines are important and vaccines are something that save lives. I don't know how else to say it. And to roll back those sort of mandates, especially in schools where we know kids are gross, like kids share,
Right.
everything. Nothing for nothing, kids are gross. Um,
They are. We love children, love
love
children.
children, kids
Like,
are gross.
I love my nieces, but man, kids be dirty and germy.
Right.
Like,
And so when you have kids going to schools like this and there's no vaccine mandates and things like that, it's truly it will be a public health crisis. Um, you know, there's so many things out there.
and again, the anti-science of it all, like, viruses don't, like, stay in one area, they
Yeah,
travel. And
yeah,
so, like, how, and this, still, I got it's gone down significantly this year because of everything. But Florida's still technically a tourist state. You've got Disney, you've got Universal, you've got Daytona, you've got the Keys, you've got Miami, you've got all these different points of interest that people come from all over the country and world. And now we're just gonna, like, begin a worldwide spread of, like, mumps again because anti-science. It's to the point. And I know I had a anti-vax family me family member before, so it's like I've had this conversation. It's like, well, you're supposed to get boosted as an adult and nobody ever does, and da 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 da. And it's like, true, because we rely on herd immunity and we vaccinate the children so that we adults. So I know I'm gonna go. I was talking to a nurse friend, and she said she recommended that if you're worried about it, go get your I don't even know how to say the word. It's titers, I think. You can go get your, like, antibody levels checked, and if they're low, then you can get the vaccine. Um, like they RFK changed the stuff for the COVID vaccine, so now, like, you I mean, you have to be, like, a high risk person or over 65. And, I mean, it's just, which then impacts, like, that. It's like, fine if you don't want, like, fine, but, like, if you don't wanna get the vaccine, you don't wanna get the booster, don't. But, like, now you're just doing this to, like, this insurance companies aren't gonna cover it anymore because it's not, required per se. Um, but it was so funny in that press conference with the, Florida Surgeon General. He literally almost said, "Your body, your choice." Like, he was like, wait, I don't wanna start that line. I
right,
don't wanna start that
right,
line of logic because then abortion has entered the chat."
right,
Like,
exactly. It's all about your body, your choice until it comes to children and women. Um,
exactly.
but yeah, I get so frustrated when people say or when people have this conversation and they don't take it seriously, and you know, um, yes, there are some vaccines that are not great. We can have that conversation. We can have an open, honest conversation about it. But there's a lot of research that goes into it, and to completely cut this research back, to completely cut the mRNA research, those thousand scientists that were just completely cut and not replaced, as part of the spending and waste, fraud, and abuse and all that. It's awful. It's going to create a public health crisis like we've never seen before. And it's going to affect so many things. It's going to affect our economy. It's going to affect everything, like our everything, if we run into this public health crisis.
Yeah, and the people that are gonna be most affected are children, elderly, and, the disabled.
Hmm.
Point blank. Like,
Absolutely.
regular mostly, for the most part, general public, people are gonna be fine. But children, elderly, and disabled, immunocompromised people, they're gonna be the first ones dying.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
hope it's not your grandma, I guess, Ronnie DeSantis.
I guess. I guess. Um, so what do you want to talk about next? What do you want to move on to? Is there anything?
Did you wanna let's one thing that we haven't had a chance really to talk about, we've touched on it here and there with interviews, is the, activation of the National Guard in LA. First in LA, now in DC, and now we're threatening Chicago with it.
Yes. Yes. So Trump has taken the National Guard and militarized them and military police and all that and put them on the streets against civilians. It started in LA, where we've seen peaceful protests. It wasn't even riots or anything like that. It was truly, truly peaceful protests, where he put the National Guard out there to round people up and try to arrest so many people. I seen a video the other day where they literally cornered off like 100 people that were just peacefully protesting, and it was like 7 o'clock at night. They cornered them off and they held them there until 8 p.m. Because there was a curfew at 8 p.m. Then they arrested those 100 people for being out after curfew when it was the police and the National Guard who had held them there for that hour, making them stay out beyond the curfew. So now we've seen it where it's happening in Chicago, and Trump is begging JB Pritzker to call him and ask for the National Guard, and it's not needed. Like I said, I just made a trip up there a couple of weeks ago, and it's perfect. Like it's not perfect. There's obviously no place is perfect. It's
All
obviously
right.
crime going to be everywhere, but um, the crime that they think is there is not true. Like what they think is going on in that city is not. I have friends and family up there, and it's just not as bad as it is, and so it's truly not needed. And JB Pritzker, I love his interviews when he comes on and says that he doesn't need it and he will never call Trump and beg and things like that. Um, I think he's one of the good rich guys. Obviously he's paid for himself. Obviously not great, but he's on the right side of history, I would say. So I like to see the governor of Illinois pushing back, and hopefully it doesn't go farther than that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Obviously, uh just in case anyone listening isn't familiar how it works, the District of Columbia, in Washington D.C. is under federal control. They don't like they have a mayor and stuff, but they're not like a city. They're not a state. They're like they get all their money, their budget from the federal government, all that. So it was just like because they're under federal control, it was just easy for him to plop military people in there and get National Guard, from other states, without, like without needing someone to ask him for it, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could just go affirmatively go in and do it. Obviously, the mayor of DC has her response, Muriel Bowser, has been wanting I do again, though, I get it, though, because her literal entire budget, the life of her city is dependent on that man, Congress is obviously not afraid to, draw money back when it's already been appropriated. So it's a really hard place it's to be in. The city of DC ain't having it, which is my favorite part. Like the man that threw the sandwich at the DHS employee, like, and then they were both just like slow guy running. That was hilarious to watch. And then they couldn't indict him on a felony. Of course not, because a sandwich isn't a felony.
Right.
But yeah, um, it's just and this is the other thing that makes the, like, prospect of wanting to do more protesting and organizing and everything is that's they're waiting for pretext to do what they wanna do. So it's like if you have, you know, I believe there are supposed to be, like, a No King's Day Part 2 things coming up. Like, I worry about even though it is a peaceful gathering, I worry about, doing that in Chicago when he's already in the eye line of like, okay, well, there's too many people gathering, so let's send them in now. Like, it's just all, yeah.
It's concerning. It's definitely concerning. We want people to be safe, and we want, like I was saying earlier, we want people to be able to go out and do this and make their voices heard. When you have the threat of police and things like that, and when you have the National Guard coming in and arresting people and doing what they're doing, it's scary. But remember that we have laws, we have rules, You know, we have different organizations that are out there fighting for, you know, against this sort of thing. So, you know, the 100 people that got arrested in LA, where they were roped off, and you know, I think it was the ACLU, had lawyers ready for them. They were released the next day. They had waters and food waiting for them and rides to get them home and things like that. So there are really good organizations out there fighting back and helping people. So just remember
For
that, you know your rights, know what you're allowed to do, record everything, record
correct.
everything.
It is not illegal to record police officers.
It is not at
It's
all.
not.
It is not. It is perfectly legal, it's perfectly fine, and please do it so you
And
that
the
even if, you know, nothing happens to you, but you see something else happening, share it with the media. That's how we get the
correct.
truth out there. That's how we get people to know what's going on. We have to record everything. We have to make it public and share it and post it online and post it across social media and public media and things like that, because you know we know that Trump's taken over the media and he's doing whatever he wants. So we have to get our voices and the truth out there.
For sure. And that is something, one of my podcasts that I like to listen to, other than this one, obviously, is Pod Save America and, just a bunch of other epic pods that are on the Crooked Media network. And they've talked about all the time. You go to YouTube, you go to the podcast, rankings, it's Charlie Kirk, it's Joe Rogan, it's all those guys are always up there first. So we're already working in a deficit trying to, come get our message across. We're already like working, the algorithm is working against us, essentially. So we just got to be even louder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, if you're going out to protest, record everything. Make sure that you know your rights. Make sure that you're standing up for, you know, yourself, and you're protecting yourself and making it known. The best thing that you can do, like I said, is to record and do your research beforehand. Know your rights. Have paperwork with you. Have documentation of, you know, your ID. Carry your passport. I mean, things like that. Have documentation of yourself and, you know, proof that you're a citizen and things like that. If you're worried about that, I know several people in DC are, you know, they won't go anywhere without their passports and their birth certificates on them. You know, they won't even leave, like teachers not even leaving the classrooms without having that sort of documentation on them to go to the bathroom.
I know people who are here in St. Pete that feel that way because of, the cooperation between St. Pete Police and ICE. So,
Right. So again, know your rights, have documentation on you, and record everything. Record everything.
yeah,
Mm, I
best
want to
advice
shout
we can
out,
get you.
or not really shout out because we're not going to that yet, but I do want to quickly turn to what's going on over in Gaza. And I just want to remind people that it is truly a humanitarian crisis over there, and it is genocide. It is truly genocide. I think that, what was it? I just seen a clip earlier that like I forget how many people. It was over 500 people or something like that that are part of the International Genocide Coalition or something like that, that came out and said
Mhm.
what Israel is doing in Gaza to Palestinians is truly genocide. They finally called it genocide, and so you know
Yeah, I
this is
believe I heard that too, like, the social researchers who, like, make these determinations. I believe I heard that today as well.
right. So it is truly like we now have the word for it. You know, we were saying before it was genocide and things like that. And we've seen the videos of children getting shot and, you know, the drone footage of a grandmother walking with her children or with her grandkids. And all of a sudden the grandmother's shot and the children are just standing there crying, you know, and then the children get shot. It's like, it's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely inhumane. The fact that they let these children starve for so many months and let all that food sit there wasting away, you know, on all the ships and things like that, and then tried to at the last minute let you know, that aid in and things like that, but then they burned off so many of what was left, and it's
Yeah, the
genocide.
burning of aid is just like, oh my god, like, I just can't. The United States is burning food, they're burning birth control, that we've sent out around the world. I mean, it's just it's horrible, and I think it's, this situation in Gaza is really hard for a lot of people to discuss, because of, the nature of it being two religious factions going against each other. And it's you run the risk of, hurting people either way. I know that having this conversation is gonna give me problems in my family, but that's okay. I'm here for it. It's you have to. You can't. You know what I mean? Like, this is Benjamin Netanyahu knows what he's doing. The people that are keeping him in power know what they're doing. They have there were slide decks, I think the Washington Post discovered and reported on this weekend, or like earlier this week, that of the plan. What Trump said in that press conference with Bibi is that no, they're literally going to wipe out and rebuild Gaza as luxury housing. Luxury ocean, like, waterfront. And I mean, that's I don't like I just I c- if you ca- I don't understand how you can hear the people saying that and not and just like not like where are they supposed to you I mean where are the Palestinians going? Where are they going? It's not the job of Egypt or Jordan or any of these other countries to accept them in, because they had a home. And I understand it gets very it's very complicated because of the because of 1947 and getting the land back, giving Israel land after World War II and everything. What was Israel and Palestine before? Just like we're dealing with stuff that like this is beginning of the world, like his long held beef. Like literally, if you like do a meld of like the Bible and like you know um real history, like it's just this has been going on for a millennia, and
And I make no
it
I make no excuses for what Hamas did on October 7th, almost 2 years ago. I make
absolutely
no
not.
excuses. They are a terrorist organization. They have been in control in Palestine for way too long. They are a disgusting terrorist organization. But at this point, what
Absolutely.
Israel has done in return has gone so far beyond that that now Netanyahu is truly a terrorist. I will say that until that is a hill I will die on, because at this point it is truly genocide. It is the murder of children, innocent people. Again, when you see these videos of children holding out pots and pans to get like a scoop of slop put into that pot
Yeah.
and pan so they can go back and feed their 17 people in their family. I don't understand how people can see these videos and not understand what's going on. How people can see the videos of them, again, getting shot by drones and getting just taken out by random snipers and things like that, and not understand what's going on. It is genocide. It is absolutely disgusting. We will call it out,
And
continue to call it
the
out
other
every
thing
chance
that
we
it's
get.
like the targeted attack on the press too. The targeted attack that has gone against Al Jazeera, which is the only broadcast network in there, is just like the attacks on journalists are like, and it's, I just like, I feel like, and I just feel I need to counter the arguments that always come out of it's like, well, Palestinians elected Hamas. Well, I mean, guess technically true, on an election that George W. Bush forced them to have, and they've not been allowed to hold elections since then. So it's like that was the only option at the time, and they've been given no chance for anything else since then. So I just it's so complicated, and but what's not the situation and like the history of it is complicated. What's happening right now is not. Like it's plain, it's simple. The ICC has called Benjamin Netanyahu, a human rights violator, and that he's supposed to be, and there's a warrant for his arrest,
Mhm.
which the United States obviously doesn't recognize. But it's because they have one for Putin too, and Trump met with Putin a few weeks ago. So it's like, it's yeah. I just you can't you. There comes a point where you have to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. I think that's honestly my shutdown for this week too. Like, I don't even know if we have to get into that and get into our shutout or shutdown because that was going to be my
I think
shutdown.
yeah, we yapped
Um,
it, yeah.
I truly I wanted to shut down everything that's going on over there. Like you said, the killing of reporters. I think there's like over 1,000 reporters or something like that that have been killed. Palestine-born reporters and American journalists and things like that that have been
Yeah,
attacked and killed and things like that. So it's absolutely disgusting. I hope that there is a real resolution soon. I don't know if it'll ever be a two-state resolution or whatever, because where are these people going to go? Like you said, where are these people going to go? Um,
right.
so I just want there to be equality and equity across the board. I want people to be free. I want people to understand that they're human and be treated like humans. That's what I want.
Exactly, which, treating each other like humans is I just don't think that much to ask, you know? It's just the bare minimum, I thought.
Exactly. Well, this has been another fantastic conversation. I think that we are. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on real quick?
It is, let's see, this is our week today. We're recording this as September 4th. So it'll be out either tonight or tomorrow, but we do have coming up on September 18th is the Stonewall Democrats monthly meeting, and we have some very cool special guests that planned. A couple elected officials, which I think would be really cool if y'all come out. We're still like 100% confirming people, so I don't want to like say names and then they don't come out, but we should be able to hype that up next week. So yeah, stay tuned and tentatively mark your calendar for Thursday, September 18th at 7 p.m.
Absolutely, right at the DUC headquarters. And I will say that we will have Fintry Streskill and Michelle Rayner there for sure. They have both confirmed, and we're working on a couple of more people that we're trying to get in and confirmed. Also, on October 17th, we are having our meeting. It is our meeting at Pinellas Ale Works. And that is our October general meeting. And right now, do we want to announce the guest or do we want to hold off?
I think we'll hold off.
All right, we'll hold off. We'll keep you in suspense for now.
Yeah.
We'll see how it turns out. We'll keep you in.
Yeah.
All righty. Well,
We're working on a really cool guest.
yeah. Hopefully. But all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. It's been another wonderful recording with you, Laura. Thank you. As always, thanks for tuning in and watching this and listening to us ramble.
Yeah, for sure. Please remember to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We're at For St. Pete's Sake. Please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen and leave a rate and review to help promote the pod on the algorithms. We will be back next week with more stories from the people doing the hard work to make our community better. Until next time, for St. Pete's sake, keep pushing for change.